Jose.
Hey, Jeff.
Glasses. Is this a new look for lockdown?
Is to watch you properly, because at the close distance, I need a little bit of help.
Very simple question. How are you, and how is it being back with your boys in training?
I'm fine, thank you. And the boys are good. I think we try to stay together all the time. And since the lockdown and the decision of stopping playing and training, my intention was always to stay together, to make the boys feel that we are together. And I think that was more important than the reality of the Zoom virtual training that we were doing. It was much more about us as a group, about us as a family, about trying to keep some discipline in our lives. The Zoom session every day, 10 a.m., everybody waking up at the same time, having a little bit of work, finishing the work. We stay together in the Zoom, having a laugh, having a conversation, discussing a few things. Then we move even to tactical sessions with small groups or individual players. And finally, when training grounds open and we move to stage one, obviously was an amazing feeling for everybody to be back to the green carpet, because I think we all miss even the smell of it.
What was the thought? That's interesting what you say there. What was the thought process about keeping that continual conversation going and keeping the group together? Trying to foresee when you return, keep the momentum going, try and keep the team spirit. What was in your mind when you decided how you deal with it?
At the time, it was really difficult to make decisions, because we don't know anything. We don't know what is going to happen. We don't know if we are going to play again. We don't know much. But we, as a club, we made a decision of even to protect the players and to try to protect also society. We made the decision of no traveling. So nobody was leaving to their countries. Every player stayed in London. The majority of the players, they live around the area of the training ground or London, not far from Anfield, and was very important to keep also mentally healthy. And we could all feel that loneliness, that staying at home, that not leaving, and was important to make that Zoom session in the morning, because kept us together. And we were not just training. For me, training is when you are on the pitch, but trying to give the players some condition, or to try to keep the meaning, the base of at least trying to do a little bit of prevention for when we move to the green carpet. We try to be a little bit more ready for it. So I think we did very well. I am so pleased with, and more than pleased, proud of the players as a group, as individuals. Everybody on time, nobody coming late to the session, having a little bit of fun, enjoying it, finishing the session, staying together for a little bit more. I think was good. And even for me, arriving in the club mid-season and still learning the players and the personalities, I think was even good for me to try to know them to know them better, and I'm really, really proud of what they did. Really.
Morning, H.
Morning.
Harry Kane. John, your hair is growing up a lot, eh?
Very different, though, from a normal team meeting, because, of course, Zoom, you're in their homes, so you've got the chance of partners or kids or people and things interrupting all the time.
No, it was fun. It was fun. We had dogs, we had cats, we had babies, we had family, we had lots of things going on, but was even funny. And in the end of a couple of weeks, the guys were bringing the kids for the beginning of the session or for the end of the session, and was really fun. And we recorded and we have it and we share. So even the moms were getting the videos at home of their children working with the dads, where the dads were trying to keep fit. But it was really a fantastic work, because, as you can imagine, different players, different houses, some in flats, some in houses, some in gardens, some with gyms. We had, as a club, to help them to have the minimum conditions. We deliver foods. We had nutritionists speaking with them all the time. We had the sports science boys working together with myself and my staff. Really, really a group work that pleased me very, very much.
How have you found lockdown yourself? I mean, I think I'm right in saying that you've actually been living with your coaching staff. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it was a decision that we made, to stay all together. By staying together, we could easily communicate, not breaking, of course, rules. That I had one episode with Tanguy, but with my assistants, we were living in the same house. We could work, we could analyze, we could prepare for the Zoom. Coming to the club mid-season was also important, because now we had lots of time to analyze all our matches. But of course, what I found more difficult was really not to have a target, not to have a day that we could say, on the X day of the X months, we are going back to the training grounds. On the X day of the X months, we are going to play football again. That was the difficult thing, was really not to have a clear target. But after the Zoom, when we were allowed to come to the training ground, was a new chapter. And even working individually like we did for a few weeks, and then we moved to the groups of 5 where we are now, is not the perfect situation, but is step after step after step, and we are just waiting for one more step, and hopefully we can have a target where the authorities and the Premier League, they feel that is the right moment and is safe to go back to football.
Must have been a bit weird, just you and the coaching staff at the training ground, because it's a fantastic facility. It's an enormous place, but you must have been rattling around there like ghosts.
Yeah. To be honest, there was a period where we were coming here. It's just a couple of minutes in the car, but when we were coming, we were putting in the music, that last music from the Rolling Stones, a ghost in a ghost town, because it was really what we were feeling.
What you're experiencing.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you about as well, Jose, was that obviously I've seen the pictures of you out and about in the community during the coronavirus. How did you find that? And what sort of conversations did you have with people that you were delivering foodstuffs and parcels to?
I would like to do more and more, but of course when we start moving to open the training ground to the players, then become impossible, because there was a period where we were starting training 9 o'clock in the morning and we were finishing 5 p.m. because by having players training individually, and we had to organize lots of different slots, and some boys were coming at 9, some others at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, was being here, and to be honest, all the boys from my staff really tired for a certain period. You could find a funny picture of me riding a bike, because we have the pitches at a huge distance, and without a bike I couldn't control every training session at the same time. But going to the community was, especially in the period of the lockdown, and when we were training with the Zoom and I had some free time, was really nice. And I enjoy very much the contact with the people. I enjoy how much I learn in the training ground garden, because it was not just to taking the vegetables to our stadium to deliver to the people, was also trying to have some fun and to feel it in a different way. So to be with the boys in the garden was also a good experience for me.
Now that you have seen the boys back in training, we don't know, none of us know yet, but they're talking potential mid to late June restart. How confident are you that your boys will be ready for that Friday night game against Manchester United?
I think in this moment, honestly, since the moment Bundesliga started, since the moment the Portuguese league, the Spanish league, they announce the date to start, I think is the most difficult moment for us, because we want to play. It's hard to see other countries playing football, and we don't do it. I always loved, and I always try to make my players love the Christmas period, where instead of being sad, we were always happy to give people what people loves in a period where nobody was playing football. In this moment, I'm feeling, and we are feeling a little bit opposite. German professionals are giving the world something that they love, and we are not. So we want to play, but of course we are respectful of the authorities. We trust what the authorities and the Premier League work, and we have just to wait for the decision. But when they say is the moment to start, we want very, very much to do it.
If there is a positive, albeit obviously in perspective, if there is a positive in amongst this, has the timing of the pandemic allowed you to have potentially players involved in the end of the season that may well not have been in your plans? The obvious one is Harry Kane, but you were without so many forwards as the games became postponed. So is that a positive for you?
Yeah, I cannot say in this moment they are ready to play, because one thing is to recover from an injury, another thing is to be ready to play football. And in Harry's case, I think for about 5 months that he doesn't play a football match. But all of them, they are not injured anymore. They are training. Of course, training is what it is. Training has a lot of limitations. We cannot compete. We cannot do ones against ones. We have to keep a certain distance. We cannot compete. So we are in this moment just for a few days in groups of 5. Before that, everything was individual. But Harry Kane, Son, Bergwijn, Sissoko, all of them, they're fine. I think with a couple of weeks of normal training, when the authorities tell us that we can train normally, I think in a couple of weeks, the boys will be ready to play. Of course, not in the maximum of their potential. I think nobody can do that in this moment, but ready to go. And for us, it's of course a great feeling, because we finished the period with that defeat at Leipzig, where we were really, really in trouble to have 11 players with attacking players. And in this moment, Lucas, Lamela, Son, Dele, Harry, Bergwijn, everybody's fit now.
Mm-hmm. Just as you said, we're waiting. It's a day-by-day thing. You're waiting right now to hear when you can return to full contact training. And it is a very uncertain future we face. Not just at Spurs, but in general. How do you think the transfer market will look after what has happened? What impact do you think that COVID-19 will have on the transfer market?
To be honest, I think in this moment is the last thing that we are thinking. In the club, we are not thinking about it. I can read a few things, but no talks about it, because it's the last thing that we think in this moment. In this moment, we think about safety. We think about following every rule inside of the training ground. We are trying to be perfect. It's not just about the testing. It's about everything. We are trying just to be perfect in the club, and we don't think about it. But you ask me, and I'm not going to run away. I think it's normal that you are going to have a different market. I don't see the world, and especially the football world, ready for some crazy numbers that we are used to have, and some crazy investments that sometimes some clubs, especially some clubs or some leagues like our, are used to do. But to be honest, the first question after that will be, when will be the transfer window? Of course, I don't think it will be anymore July, August. I think has obviously to go further than that. But I can imagine clubs. But if you ask me, my club, what I would like in my club, I would like my club to be what I know that is going to be. It's going to be sensible. It's going to be balanced. Yeah, it's not going to spend rivers of money. And we are trying to respect the situation, not just of football, but the situation of the world and society overall.
Okay, smashing. Jose, listen, I really appreciate you sparing the time to talk to us today. Just one last thought occurred to me before you go. You're no stranger to the Clippers. Have you been cutting your own hair in lockdown?
My hair?
Have you been cutting it?
No, we did it at home. We do that for many times with our machine. And in this moment, for me, it's just time to grow up, and we just give some little touches to try to give a shape.
You might have to give me some lessons. Good to talk to you, and look forward to seeing you in person.
See you soon, eh?
Okay, take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.